Hi guys, welcome back to the workshop. As per the title of this video, we are going to be looking at the diesel heater, the workshop diesel heater today, which is currently sat behind you where it lives. And the big question is, can it run on kerosene? Now, why would I ask that question? Well, there's a good reason, and that simply comes down to cost. Cost of the fuel. So a little bit of backstory for this video on this heater. If I remember, I'll put a link up here. When I bought the diesel heater, it was to heat this workshop in a more efficient way than, at the time, electric heating. It has done really well running off diesel. Initially I bought pump diesel, and then I found locally there's a place where I could go to a pump and buy red diesel. If you're not in the UK, we've got pump diesel, which is just run-of-the-mill diesel. Then you get red diesel, or gas oil as it's called, which can only be used in certain implements and machinery and things, which means there's either less or no tax or duty paid on it. So you can't put it in cars or anything like that. So I started using red diesel and it's all been great and fine. So it's a little bit cheaper per litre than pump diesel. Then I started thinking, well, is there another alternative? And I started looking online and people said, well, you can use heating oil, kerosene, it's all the same stuff. And then it dawned on me as well, a little bit further up the road, there's a fuel suppliers that do kerosene on pump. Quite a few of the guys around here that fly jets, they buy it from there. So I thought, well, I'll give it a try. So that's the backstory. Now, I've been running it on kerosene for a little while. I have put approximately, let's think about this. I'll show you what I'm looking at in a second. I've put approximately 100 litres through this of kerosene. And touch wood, I've not had one issue at all. There's been a few sort of horror stories that I've read, but on the whole, most people can't give categoric proof that kerosene's any worse or better than diesel. So far, the 100 odd litres I've put through, it has been no obvious difference that I can measure. Well, I haven't gone out of my way to try and measure it, but the one thing I have noticed, in general, it gets warmer quicker. So I'm wondering if kerosene burns hotter, because the machine doesn't know what's in it. It just pumps the fuel through at a certain rate. So if the kerosene burns hotter, it'll put out more heat, more BTUs, or whatever the technical term for it is, for the same given volume of liquid. Now, I'm not going to go into any sort of scientific test or anything like that to see if it is hot or anything like that. It's just something I'd noticed. So I have done a little bit of modification to the heater, just to make it a bit easier. And I'll show you just now what I've done and why I've done it. So, this is the heater and this is where it sits. Before you say it, the exhaust goes through the wall outside there. So there's no fumes indoors. You can probably see this pipe running through here. Now, what I've done, the internal tank on the diesel heater, I've done away with it. I've disconnected it, left it in situ, so if need be at some point in the future I could possibly use it again. But what I have done is I've bought some of these 25 litre drums from our favourite online marketplace, and then I've taken there's like a line inside going down to a felt filter at the bottom, up through the lid, out, and then to the inlet of the pump inside the case. You might not be able to see, but there's a little hole in the cap just to vent. There's been no smell from that whatsoever. So the diesel heater that's in the bottom now runs off this tank, and then as and when this one gets empty, we swap that lid over to another one, and then once we're onto this one, I'll then take that one and the empty one and refill them. So that is the only modification I've done. I haven't changed anything else, no settings, no nothing. All I've changed is the feed of where it actually gets the fuel from. So yeah, that's all working so far. So it does raise the question, is it better? Well, if only that it's cheaper. I'll have to go and get the receipt for the last lot of fuel that I've bought. But at the time of filming, normal pump diesel was £1.60 something a litre. £1.60 something a litre. Kerosene is 93 pence a litre, I believe. Is that right? No, it can't be. It's got to be 106 a litre. So significantly cheaper for the same given volume. So running it on kerosene, although there's no physical change to what it outputs or how it operates or anything like that, it is going to be cheaper to run. Now a lot of people might say, well, I haven't got kerosene near me. Well, unfortunately I can't change that, but you might be able to find somewhere that does sell it. The place where I get it from is a fuel wholesaler, basically. They supply jet garages here in the UK, so you might be able to find who supplies them. But yeah, if you can get kerosene, this is a great way of, cheaper way of running a diesel heater in the workshop. On the whole, again, going back to how long I've had this heater, I think, again, I'll probably put it on the screen if I get it wrong, but I think this is the 3rd winter I've had this heater going. And I've had no issues with it whatsoever. The biggest issue is when the internal tank, it's difficult to see how full or empty it is. Yeah, if you've got the slots in the side, but it's not something a quick glance you can see. So when it runs out of fuel, you've then got to refill it, and then you've got to prime it again. And if you over prime it, it won't start. And if you under prime it, it won't start. So one of the good things about swapping it over to this bigger tank, one, I can see how much fuel's in it, but also I don't have to splash fuel around all over the top there as often. So it's going to be a cleaner process for filling it up with fuel. So yeah, in answering the question, yes, you can run them on kerosene. I have been for at least 100 litres with no detrimental effects. And I'm not going to say I'd recommend it to anybody, but if you can get kerosene in the UK, it's a cheaper way of doing it. So yeah, I thought I'd just bring that information to you. Hopefully in the next video we'll be back up doing some model stuff. I've got loads going on just now in the background here, which is taking up time. I'm trying to actually find time now to actually do some building. But I've got prototype work to do. I've got non-aero modelling work to do. You might have seen it if you follow us on Facebook and Instagram. I've just got a big stocking of kits done. So if you wanted them, check out the links in the description. And I need to actually sort out a load of stuff right above me so I can actually utilise space up there for storage. Because although this is a big workshop, for what I want to fit in here just now, we haven't got enough space. It's like what they always say, you've always got plenty of space until you fill it with stuff. And that's what I've done, I've filled it with stuff. But yeah, starting to waffle, so I'll end this video here. If you haven't already, subscribe, and if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. But until next time, I'll catch you a bit later.